If you run a small business in the UK, you know that time is everything, right? But what if I told you there's a silent thief, a hidden cost that's draining not just your resources, but your passion? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this exact problem. And it all starts with one single number. 384. Just let that sink in for a second. What on earth could that number be? That's it, 384 hours. That is the time UK small businesses lose to admin, and not just once. This is happening every single year. We're talking about the equivalent of 10 full working weeks just gone, wiped out by repetitive, non-billable tasks. And this thing, it has a name. We're calling it the admin drain. You know that feeling, right? When you're so bogged down in the small stuff, the day-to-day grind, that you can't even think about the big picture. That's it. That's the admin drain. And it's stealing your time, your money, and the very reason you started your business in the first place. All right, so let's dig into this. What does this drain actually look like, and just how deep does this problem really go? When you break down that huge yearly number, it gets even more real. We are talking about an average of 8 hours every single week. Think about that. It's like working a full Monday to Friday and then having to show up for a whole extra day just to wrestle with paperwork. And here's the kicker. Most business owners don't even see it happening. I mean, this is just staggering. A whopping 83% of business owners surveyed have never actually calculated the cost of all this lost time. It's this massive expense that's completely off the books, just quietly sucking the life out of the business. So if it's not being accounted for, when is all this work actually getting done? And this is where it gets really personal. We're about to see the real human cost. Because this isn't just about business hours anymore. This is about your hours, your life. Wow. Okay, this slide, this really hits home. Just look at these numbers. Almost half, 46% of this admin gets shoved into the evenings after you've already put in a full day's work. A quarter of it is bleeding into your weekends. That's your time to recharge, to see family and friends. And look at that other 41%. That's time that should be spent growing the business. It's just a brutal trade-off. So what are these tasks? Oh, I bet you're going to recognize these. We're talking about answering the same client questions over and over again, chasing unpaid invoices. We all love that one, right? Writing proposals, manually scheduling appointments, generating reports. It's all these little paper cuts that add up to a 10-week-a-year wound. You see, the cost of this admin drain isn't just measured on a clock. It goes way deeper. It's measured in lost opportunities, in burnout, and in forgotten passion. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? Half of the business owners we talked to said the exact same thing. It's not about working less, it's about making your work more meaningful, about rediscovering that spark that made you start your own business in the first place. So, what's really at stake here? That reclaimed time isn't just for catching up on spreadsheets. It's about achieving that better work-life balance everyone talks about. It's about getting the mental space to think strategically and actually grow your business. Ultimately, it's about falling back in love with what you do. That's the real prize. Okay, so this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? We live in this age of incredible tech and AI. So why on earth is this problem so widespread? Why isn't technology just fixing it? Well, the answer is kind of shocking. Almost half, 47% of small business owners have never even tried to automate a single admin task. Even though they're losing 10 weeks of their year, the idea of finding a solution just feels like too much of a hurdle. And look, for those who have taken the plunge, the results have been, well, a mixed bag. The hope is that AI will be this magic bullet saving you tons of time. But the reality is often disappointing. Many find the output is generic, that it doesn't really get their specific business. Or worse, it gives you answers that sound great but turn out to be totally wrong. There's a big gap between the promise of AI and the practical reality. So how do we bridge this gap? What do business owners actually need to cross over from manual admin to meaningful automation? Well, the data is pretty clear on this. It all comes down to trust and proof. It's not about flashy features. It's about confidence. First, you need to see it working for a business just like yours. Second, you need a free trial to prove its value before you commit. Third, it has to be compliant with all the big regulations, like GDPR and HMRC. And finally, a recommendation from a trusted peer. That can be more powerful than any marketing campaign. This is the roadmap. So there you have it. We've defined the problem of the admin drain, we've seen its impact on both your business and your personal life, and we've mapped out a path to a solution. Now, the only thing left to do is to take a look at your own business, your own schedule, and ask yourself this one simple question. What is your admin drain really costing you?